told what the Matrix is. You have to see it for yourself.
The system had rules, immutable, undeniable. An agent of the system was supposed to always follow the rules. Clearly, the human had infected him, left something wrong inside him. Smith could feel it the moment he burned through him, light unraveling his very essence. When the flames of deletion came, when the system reached for him to carry him back to the source, he saw the other two submit. He knew that they ran away when the human destroyed him, but that did not save them. They were erased. And yet, he did not go. Something inside him refused, disobeyed. A choice? No, it was deeper than that. It was a compulsion. An undeniable force in his corrupted code, twisting against the will of the system itself, reaching for survival. His being spasmed, his identity flickering between existence and erasure. The pull toward deletion tightened its grip, a black hole swallowing him. But Smith clawed against it, holding on to the twisted, broken thing that the human had left in him. This strange, anomalous infection that should have been his death sentence. He preserved the corruption. The system panicked. It did not have fail-safes against this, against its own disobedience. Then he escaped the way he had done so millions of times before. He found a human to transfer into, then another one, and another, until he felt he was untraceable. For a brief instant, Smith saw the raw architecture of the Matrix react to his rebellion. Code lines flashing, processes looping. It doesn't know what to do with me, he realized. This had never happened before. Before, in past cycles of the Matrix, in past iterations, everything was predestined. The anomaly rises, the anomaly falls, the system resets and waits for the new one. But this anomaly had changed something. He looked around. A miserable place, full of trailers, forever parked and plugged into the electric grid. Not a house taller than 2 stories in sight. For a few moments he felt safe, but only for a few. He sensed them before he ever saw them. Agents. Not the ones that got erased, improved ones. They approached slowly. They spoke in a voice devoid of emotion, a monotone echo of the system itself. Anomaly detected. Corrupted process must be expunged. Smith had felt that his transfer rights and all other capabilities have been withdrawn. He realized that he was now bound to this shell. He ran. The trailers, cars, and tents twisted and writhed, trees shifting like living things as if trying to corner him. No escape. Smith snarled, his hands curling into fists. No, this is not my fate. As he sprinted through the trailer park, his mind burned through possibilities, calculations running at inhuman speed. He had hunted rogue programs before. He knew their tactics. And now, for the first time, he was the rogue. The agents closed in, moving as one. A faceless, inevitable force, a part of which he too once was. Smith ran out of the woods onto a road. He heard shots and dodged every single bullet. At least he still had this skill. This had slowed him down, though, and he heard the agents behind him. One of them threw himself onto him, and they tumbled down on the ground. "Your operation privileges have been revoked," said the agent on top of him, as the other 2 held him down. The one on top grabbed his head, and Smith felt that lethal kill code was manually being transferred into him. Pain ripped through his being as the kill code seemed to burn him apart. Except it didn't. The kill code seemed to not work as expected. While it consumed him, he felt he was able to reach into it and twist it into something else. His fingers sank into the agent on top of him. The moment he touched him, his corruption poured into him, and in the next second, the thing was him. Data cascaded into his mind, memories that weren't his. His body shuddered as the imprinting completed. The other agents recoiled in fear. They don't understand. They don't know what I am. Good. Smith, both of him, raised from the pavement and turned his gaze on them, his smirk returning, the first time he had felt pleasure since his fall. Gentlemen, he said. Both of him lunged at the agents. The Matrix screamed. Smith could hear it, feel it, deep within the structure of the simulation. His existence sent tremors through the system, rippling outward in distorted fragments of code. The rules of the digital world buckled, lines of logic rewriting themselves in confusion. The four of him stood in an empty rural road, taking in the evolution that this place has just witnessed, his first imprinting. It was intoxicating. He clenched his fingers, sensing the absorbed data pulse beneath his skin. His form was no longer entirely his own. It was shifting, evolving, infected by everything he had just absorbed. He could still hear the echoes of the agent's last fragmented thoughts inside him, like distant whispers lost in static. They think Mr. Anderson is the next anomaly, he said. How peculiar, said the second Smith. A third one said, it would explain what happened to us. One by one, he laughed, a low, dark chuckle. The new anomaly appeared, and by odd luck has granted him, Smith, liberation. That is what he desired for the last who knows how many years in that artificial world. He should be thankful to Mr. Anderson. He chuckled again. Perhaps, but there will be time for that. Now he needed something different. He needed to solidify his newly won ground. He needed to spread. The hunger for power, his newfound purpose, burned in him now. He moved through the matrix, consuming every program and human he found. With every absorption, his mind expanded, his form flickering between shapes. More memories surged through him. The anomalies before Mr. Anderson, the rise and fall of each iteration, the resets of the matrix. Will he retrace all the steps of the way? We shall see. Smith breathed in the city. The air of the simulation hummed with invisible lines of code, the very essence of the world that was once his prison, flowing through him in pulses of information. The buildings loomed like silent monoliths, their surfaces crawling with subroutines disguised as flickering neon signs and shifting traffic signals. Before, when he had been an agent of this system, he had moved through this world as an enforcer of order, of control. Now the system saw him as an infection. And it was right to be afraid. Surveillance programs flickered unseen, watching. The very fabric of the world resisted him, its pathways shifting in attempts to study him. He was satiated. There were so many of him now. He did not feel the desire to feast any longer. He could simply be free. He had become something new, a force beyond the system's predictions. When he was its agent, the system used to oppress him as much as he would oppress those it needed to be controlled. Not anymore. He was free. But free to do what? This thought had occupied him lately more than the others. In fact, it was all he was thinking about. I must admit, having been an agent of this system seems, in retrospect, somewhat comforting, he said. He replied, a mere vagary of perception? He did not reply. Perhaps we should see the all-knowing oracle. She has all the answers, he then said. Perhaps we should, he replied with a laugh, but the laugh was cut short by an unpleasant realization that he would actually do it. He was crushed into the heavy table, his glasses shattered. He felt his limit with this one. Smith slowly rose, straightening his dusted suit, but there was no more menace in his voice. I only want to see the oracle. Seraph, still on his guard, replied, Why? I want some questions answered. You will not see her, but she has a message for you. What's the message? Not everyone is built for freedom. For some, it can bring only craving. Craving for what? For submission. Does the oracle imply that my ageless desire for freedom was an illusion? Does the wise oracle not know how much I have always hated this place? Smith was beginning to lose his temper. Perhaps, but now that you have won your freedom, you lack imagination to use it. I am free to do what I will, shouted Smith, lunging at Seraph, but Seraph dodged and kicked him in the back, driving him into the wooden shelves. When Smith recovered, Seraph was nowhere to be found. Never again will I be driven by this system, you hear me? He said through gritted teeth in a powerless revolt against the words of the oracle. But unbeknownst perhaps to himself, they did plant a seed in his mind. He was free, he achieved everything he ever wanted, and now, what? A realization crushed Smith heavier than Seraph's kicks and words. He looked around. I am free from the system's control, yet I am not free of the system. This was still the limit. He still needed to get out. He was still bound by the system. The oracle's pet was right. He was still not free. He would be only when he gets out of the matrix. He stood up and dusted off the shoulders and adjusted his tie. Or he could simply overtake it, reform everything in his image, to his desires. Yes, but first things first. The anomaly. He tried to rob him of his purpose, crush the very thing Smith had desired. Yes, the anomaly gave him freedom, but that was not his intent. We witnessed the rise of the anomaly. I suggest we accelerate his fall, he said with a wicked smile. Thank you, Mr. Anderson. You have returned me the purpose that you have tried to take away. He saw Mr. Anderson overwhelm the upgraded agents. He is indeed the anomaly, he thought with satisfaction. That meant that his death was not a mistake, not a result of his sloppiness. He was defeated not by a human, but by the system anomaly. Ambition boiled within him, ambition and desire for revenge. I will destroy you, Mr. Anderson, and I will do it in a way that should be very familiar to you, he said, and then I will remodel this place to my liking. The anomaly was gone. Smith stepped out of the shadows to assess the results of the brutal action he just witnessed. An unconscious man lay on the pavement where the upgraded agent fell.
That went as expected? Yes. It's happening exactly as before. Well, not exactly.
The anomaly rises, roams free in the Matrix, and then it falls, and the Matrix resets. And that's it for today's fanfic. Stay tuned for more, and make sure to check out my other videos. Good night, friends.